Hello, hi to all. My name is Tarakesh. I'm dealing with the subject of induction motors and synchronous machines. Okay. In this subject, there are 5 units. First unit is three-phase induction motors, and the second unit is starting methods of three-phase induction motors, and the third unit is single-phase induction motors, and the fourth unit is synchronous machines 1, and the last unit is synchronous machines 2. All the subject induction motors and the synchronous machines belongs to the two categories, asynchronous machines and synchronous machines. What is the difference between asynchronous machine and synchronous machine? A machine which will rotate at the synchronous speed, this machine will be called as a synchronous machine. Only it depends on the rotor speed. Okay. A machine which is not other than the synchronous speed, that machine will be called as a asynchronous speed. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about the topic of construction of three-phase induction motor. Okay. First unit, construction of three-phase induction motor. After end of this topic, you are able to learn about the construction of three-phase induction motor. You know about that every machine has a two parts. One is stator and another one is rotor. Okay. One is rotor and the other one is stator. In this three-phase induction motor, it is the position winding mounted to the stator winding. Yeah, every machine has a stator and the rotor parts. In this machine, we have wounded the field winding to the stator. Machine part. Rotor is wound to the rotating mechanical. Rotor is connected to the mechanical load to the shaft. There are two types of rotors of the three-phase induction motors. First one is squirrel cage rotor, and the second one is slip ring induction motor. Slip ring induction motor. According to rotor construction, three-phase induction motors are two types: squirrel cage induction motor and the slip ring induction motor. And the type of rotor construction, squirrel cage induction motor and slip ring induction motor. The other parts in the induction motor is shaft, bearings, and a fan, and the terminal box. Coming to the stator has a many parts: stator frame, stator core, and the stator winding, and the field winding. Okay. Coming to the stator frame, this is a pictorial representation of the stator frame. It is the outer part of the three-phase induction motor. Okay. The main function to support the stator core and the field winding. The main function of the stator frame is to support the stator core and the field winding. It acts as a covering and it provides protection and mechanical strength to all the inner parts of the induction motor. The frame is either made up of cast or fabricated steel. The frame of three-phase induction motor should be strong and rigid construction. The air gap length of three-phase induction motor is very small. Otherwise, The rotor will not remain concentric with the stator, which will give rise to the unbalanced magnetic pull. This is about the stator frame. And next we're coming to the next part is stator core. This is the pictorial representation of the stator core. The main function of the stator core is to carrying the alternating flux, which will generate by the stator winding. In order to reduce the eddy current loss, the stator core is laminated. These laminated type of construction are made up of stampings, which is about 0.4 to 0.5 mm thick. All the stampings are stamped together to form stator core, which is then housed in stator frame. The stamping is made up of silicon steel, which helps to reduce the hysteresis losses occurring in the motor. Okay. Next part is the stator or field winding. Stator and field winding is mounted to the stator like this in the picture shown in. The slots on the periphery of the stator core. The slots on the periphery of the stator core of the three-phase induction motor carry three-phase windings. We apply three-phase or AC supply to the three-phase winding. The three phases of the winding are connected either in star or delta depending upon the type of starting method we use. We start the squirrel gauge motor mostly with star delta starter, and hence the starter or squirrel gauge motor is delta connected. To start the slip ring induction motor by inserting the resistance, so the stator winding of the slip ring induction motor can be connected either in star or delta. The winding wound on stator of three-phase induction motor is also called as a field winding. And when the winding is excited by the three-phase AC supply, it produces a rotating magnetic field. Okay. Next, we are learning about the type of three-phase induction motors. You know that type of three-phase induction motor, squirrel gauge induction motor, and slip ring induction motor. This is the construction about a squirrel gauge induction motor. The rotor of the squirrel gauge three-phase induction motor is cylindrical and have slots on its periphery. The slots are not made parallel to each other, but are bit skewed. And the skewing prevents magnetic clothing of stator and rotor teeth and makes the working of the motor more smooth and quieter. This squirrel gauge rotor consists of aluminum, brass, or copper bars. These aluminum brass or copper bars are called rotor conductors are placed in slots on the periphery of the rotor. The rotor conductors are permanently shorted by the copper or aluminum rings called end rings. To provide mechanical strength, these rotor conductors are braced in the end ring and hence form a complete closed circuit resembling like a cage, and hence got its name squirrel gauge induction motor. The next one is slip ring induction motor. This is the construction diagram of the slip ring induction motor. In this type of slip ring induction motor, or another name is wound rotor. In this type of induction motor, the rotor is wound for the same number of poles as that of the stator, but it has a less number of slots and has fewer turns per phase of a heavier conductor. The rotor also carries star and or delta windings similar to that of the stator winding. The rotor consists of number of slots, and rotor windings are placed inside these slots. The three end terminals are connected together to form a star connection. As its names indicated, three-phase slip-ring induction motor consists of a slip-ring connector on the same shaft as that of the rotor. Okay. And this is the slip-ring induction motor, another diagram. The external resistance can be easily connected through the brushes and slip ring and hence used for the speed controlling and improving the starting torque of the induction motor. The brushes are used to carry current to and from the rotor winding. These brushes are further connected to three-phase star connector resistances. At starting, the resistance is connected to the rotor circuit and is gradually cut out as the rotor picks up its speed. When the motor is running, the slip ring are shorted by connecting a metal collar which connects all slip ring together and the brushes are also removed. Next topic is coming to the advantages of squirrel gauge and the slip ring induction motors. Advantages of squirrel gauge induction motor. Its construction is very simple and rugged construction compared to slip ring. As there are no brushes and slip rings, this motor requires less maintenance. Coming to the advantage of the slip ring induction motor, it has a high starting torque and a low starting current, possibility of adding additional resistance to control speed. This is the main point. We cannot add additional resistance to the squirrel gauge motor because those are shorted on both ends. We can add additional resistance in the slip ring construction. Okay. What are the applications of the squirrel gauge induction motor and applications of the slip ring induction motor? Squirrel gauge induction motors are used in live. We use the squirrel gauge induction motors in labs, drilling machines, fans, blower printing machines, etc. And the applications of slip ring induction motor, hoists, cranes, elevators, because these slip ring induction motors are used where high starting torque is required. Where high starting torque is required. This is the topic of the three-phase induction motor construction according to rotor, squirrel gauge, and slip ring induction motor. What are the parts of three-phase induction motor? This is the end of the topic. Thank you.